Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We all want a good period in our life. We want a period of less turbulences and less obstacles, less upheavals, and more profit, more prosperity in life, and more peace, more tranquility and more happiness. And so if you are upon a dasha which is not so very good, and there are certain obstacles we have faced, there are certain challenges that we have faced, then we look forward to a better dasha, a better period. And so we are then looking into a horoscope and checking which dasha can be a good one, and we are always keeping our fingers crossed that if not this dasha or this antar dasha or this particular transit, I at least hope that the next one is going to be a much better dasha for me, more prosperous for me, and bringing less challenges, less issues, less problems. So we are looking at our horoscope from the period point of view, dashas, antar dashas, transits, a certain yoga getting activated, and so on. However, can we ascertain when we look at our horoscopes whether in general we are going to have more challenges in our life, or we are going to have it more easy, or we are going to have a more happiness oriented life and more choices, more freedom, rather than we are the receiving end of a karma. So there are certain things which can give you a lot of clarity when we look at a horoscope, whether a certain horoscope will be facing more challenges, more obstacles, more upheavals, because that particular native has more karmic debts to be paid. So if you have more karmic debt to be paid, then obviously you will have to pay that debt, and the debt is paid by facing those challenges, facing those issues, facing those turbulations, and yet being able to come out on top and being able to get through that challenging period, challenging phase of phases through good karma, following a dharma, doing a duty, and not falling prey to Rahu, or not falling prey to any malefics which are pushing us towards more unethical behavior, pushing us towards taking those shortcuts. So how do we see that through a horoscope? So in general, if you want to know if we will be having a life which will be a lot of challenges through the karmic debt, then there are few combinations in the horoscope which throw light on it. Firstly, if the Lagna Lord is strongly connected to either the 6th house or the 8th house, along with one or two more malefics, if it's more than two malefics and the Lagna Lord is associated with the 6th house or the 8th house, or both, then there is a strong karmic debt that the individual has to pay. Why? Because the 6th house is the Bhrigu Bhava, or the house which also denotes karmic debts which needs to be paid. The 8th house is the house of both, which is Ayusthan, but it is also Marakasthan, plus it is also a house of challenges and issues, being a Dusthana. And the biggest challenges, sudden problems come from the 8th house. Sudden challenges, sudden problems come from certain areas where you're unprepared, or you don't know, you're not aware of. And so because of the sheer suddenness of the situation, you end up needing to pay. It is like sudden hospitalization happens, then you need to pay the hospital bills. Sudden accident happens, then of course you have to pay for the repair. A sudden surgery comes up, of course you need to pay for this charge of the surgery, pay the hospital bills. Or a fire accident happens, or you fall and you break bones. All of these challenges, there is always a price to be paid, and the price is not always in terms of money, but it is also through mental anguish, the productive time which is taken away from your work, or the period of pain that you need to face going through those issues, going through the challenges, and the sheer mental torture that you need to go through, and the peace that is taken away from your life, and maybe from your family also during that duration, and sometimes the repair takes number of years, if not longer. So it is definitely a challenging phase where the Lagna Lord is getting connected with the 6th house or the 8th house or both. For example, Lagna Lord going into the 6th house, whereas the 8th Lord going into the Lagna or associating with the Lagna through either a conjunction or through aspect, then there is a strong karmic debt you need to pay. And the more and more planets which get associated when the Lagna Lord is in one of the Dusthanas, when more planets also get associated either with the Lagna Lord through conjunction or through aspect or with the 8th house, then there is a strong karmic debt you need to pay, and you will have to face those challenges, those issues, those tribulations throughout your life, specifically during the dasha, antardashas of those planets which are involved, and when important planets transit over those houses or over those planets. Specifically when Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu or Ketu transit over those planets or over those houses, then you have to pay the price. The other is, you have 3 or 4 bad doshas in your horoscope, and they are connected either with the Lagna or with the Lagna Lord or with the Kendra houses or with the Dusthanas. Specifically, once again, with the 6th house or the 8th house, then this is a very, very strong sign of a strong karmic debt which you need to pay, and you just can't escape it. So if you have a dosha like a Shrapit dosha between Saturn and Rahu, or you have a Vish dosha which is again between Saturn and Moon, or you have an Angakaraka dosha between, say, a Mars and Rahu. So any such strong malefic doshas, and there are many, many more associated with the Lagna or with the Lagna Lord or with the Kendra houses or with the Dusthanas, then there is a strong karmic debt that you need to pay, and you just can't escape it, and you will have to face those challenges, you will have to face those tribulations. The other is, if you have more planets getting associated with the 6th house and the 8th house and with bad doshas also. Say for example, you have a Vish dosha between Saturn and Moon in the 8th house, and you have an Angakaraka dosha between Rahu and Mars in the 6th house. Then there is definitely a challenge, because 4 of your planets have gone into Dusthanas, that to the 6th and the 8th house. Then definitely there is a strong karmic debt that you have to pay in your life, throughout your life. It's more to do with the period of the dashas of Rahu and Mars here, associated with the 6th house, and Saturn and Moon associated with the 8th house. Plus, whichever is the sign in which they are placed, their sign lords dasha and antardasha will also throw up challenges and issues. So which means more than half of your life then will go into challenges and issues and problems. The next is the very strong planets which force you to face those challenges, those tribulations, which is Rahu, Ketu and Saturn. No planets getting associated with Rahu, Ketu or Saturn anywhere in the horoscope, not only associated with the Dusthanas. For example, if more planets get associated with Rahu or Saturn or Ketu in the Lagna, for example, in spite of Lagna being both a Kendra house as well as a trine house, if 3 or 4 planets get into the Lagna, for example Rahu, Saturn, Mars and Sun, all 4 malefics, strong malefics get placed in the Lagna or any other house in the horoscope, plus if there is a bad dosha also which is involved here, Rahu is eclipsing the Sun and the other planets, plus because Saturn is also there, then it also becomes a Shrapit dosha, for example. So here challenges will definitely be there, issues will definitely be there. And if there are multiple eclipses, for example there is an eclipse of the Sun and the Moon in the horoscope, then there is a bigger challenge. And if there are benefits which are also under the aspect of Rahu or Ketu or Saturn, while the luminaries Sun and Moon have gone into eclipse, then too there is a strong karmic debt you need to pay, and you will have to face the challenges and issues during that period. The next is retrograde planets. The retrograde planets have been called out in most of the astrological books as ones where you have certain carry forward things which you're carrying the baggage from early ages, and so that karmic debt also has to be paid. So if you have 2 or more than 2 retrograde planets in the horoscope, then you have strong karmic debts you have to pay connected to those planets. So specifically, if Saturn, Jupiter or Mercury or any 2 of these planets get retrograde in your horoscope, then too you have a strong karmic debt to be paid in your life, in your age. Plus, if a lot of your nakshatra are associated with planets going into them, specifically the dharma nakshatras. Dharma is your duty, which means you have to do your duty, you have to do your karma in this life. So if a lot of your planets are going into the dharma nakshatras, those nakshatras which are the dharma nakshatras, then which means then your life will be focused on taking care of those duties, taking care of those responsibilities, and so you have a karmic debt to be paid, and that's why most of your planets are placed in the nakshatras which are the dharma nakshatras. The other thing is that if a lot of your planets are placed in the fiery signs, fiery signs are the signs which are Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. They are strongly associated with dharma, which means you need to do your duty. So if more planets get placed into these signs, which means you have a strong duty that you need to do, strong responsibilities that you need to do, and that is also because of a carry forward of the karmic baggage and the karmic duty that you need to do by paying off that karmic debt, because of which most of your planets have gone into the fiery signs. If a lot of your planets have gone into the 5th house of your Sanchita karma and the 9th house of your Prarabdha karma and the 10th house of Kriyaman karma, so at least if most of your planets are getting into the 5th, 9th or the 10th houses, then too there is a strong karmic debt to be paid. And if they are also associated with doshas, also associated with malefics such as Rahu, Ketu and Saturn, then too there is a strong karmic debt that you need to pay. You will have to face the challenges, the issues, the problems, the tribulations in life. There is no escape there, and you are better off being prepared for those challenges rather than assuming that you will not face any. And lastly, if most of your planets are placed in the nakshatras ruled by Rahu, Saturn or Ketu, or being associated with these nakshatras by virtue of being placed in them, or Rahu, Saturn and Ketu aspecting them, then too there is a strong placement of karmic debt connected to those placements, and you will have to face those challenges, those issues, those problems connected to those houses, connected to those signs, connected to those nakshatras, whatever the nakshatras are symbolic for or the symbols are associated with them. So for example, if a lot of planets get associated with the Ashwini nakshatra ruled with Ketu, or the Magha nakshatra, or the Mula nakshatra, or the Ardhra nakshatra for example, or the Satabisha nakshatra, then obviously you will face challenges associated with Rahu and Ketu or their placements in the planet, in the respective houses, and what conjunctions, what associations, what aspects they are making, and you will have to face those. There is no escape. So it is better to be prepared rather than assume or to hope without knowing. Hoping is not bad. Hoping that our life should be good, and if not this dasha, not this antardasha, not this transit, the next antardasha, or the next dasha, or the next transit should be a good one for us. For example, Jupiter is transiting through Capricorn, so you are a little skeptical, and then you are hoping that when Jupiter gets into a Pisces, or it gets into Leo, or it gets into Cancer, then I will face better times. So it's always good to hope, but it is also better to know by doing a good study of your horoscope. So generally it's always a good thing that when a child is just 5 or 6 years of age, parents at least have one look into his or her horoscope to see what the placements are saying, so that the parents are better prepared and know whether the child is going to face issues or challenges or problems, and then basis that they pay off that karmic debt, and quickly. The more quicker you pay off the karmic debt, the quicker you pay off the debts that you owe to anyone, the more freer you are, so that the next goodies, the next prosperity that comes is all for you. So if you have a big debt to pay and the debt is always on your head, it is always good to pay off the debt quickly, so that the next monies that come in, the next prosperity that comes in, you are free to do whatever you want to do with it, rather than always having the sort of Damocles hanging over your head that so much debt has to be paid off. So the quicker you look into a horoscope, the quicker you understand your horoscope, you know whether there is a stronger element of karmic debt to be paid, the more ready you can be. And also looking at where the karmic debt needs to be paid and being shedding off that karmic debt is good for you. One good way of shedding that karmic debt is by doing a lot of donations. Rather than going through the challenges and issues while trying to protect the prosperity that you have, it's better to give off some of the earnings that you have in, or the goodies that you have in donations, through helping others. So through that you improve your karma and you shed a lot of your karmic debt, rather than shedding your karmic debt by facing challenges, facing issues years and years on end. Isn't it not easier when you have more peace of mind, you have more tranquility of mind, you have more happiness, more peace in your life, by paying off a lot of the karmic debt through donations, by helping others and doing service. So if you make it a regular thing in your life, where you are helping the poorest of the poor, you are treating the people who are working right below you, like the security guard, the maid, your driver, all those people who serve you, you treat them very, very well. You pay them slightly more than they deserve maybe, and you're always open to helping people. You give time and you serve in child orphanages or in old age homes. You pick up a cause in life and you help in that cause. So that means a certain period of your life, certain time of your life, certain amount of money that you earn, certain amount of prosperity and goodies that you earn, when you dedicate it regularly to paying off your karmic debt, you will realize that however strongest of karmic debt you have in your life, you will have a slightly easier time. And on top of that, if you have good behavior, you have ethical behavior, you have more humane behavior, you have more humble behavior, you have more accountable and responsible behavior, then you will find that you will attract easier times rather than face more challenges, more issues, more problems, more turbulences in life. So friends, it is of course not a great thing to see that you have a lot of karmic debt to be paid when you look at your horoscopes, but nothing is lost completely. You can always, whichever phase of life you are, you can always give some part of the prosperity that you have got, or abundance that you have got, or whatever you have got, you can always share. You can always dedicate time to helping others. If not with money, you can give time. There are a lot of people who may not be having a job, who may be having time on their hand, and so these are troubled times. So you can always extend a helping hand to help out people, to give time to people, if nothing else, to be available to people. If nothing else, just lending a patient ear to people who themselves are going through a challenge and issues can also be a good seva that you do. So make a life of seva, make a life of helping others, make a life of being more humane, make a life of sharing more, make a life of donating, make a life of always being ready to help others, looking around how you can help others, and dedicating a certain period of your life, time, money, energy, effort towards helping others, towards serving the others, and through that serving the supreme energy, and you will find that life will be easier than going through a lot of turbulences, lot of problems, in spite of whatever karmic debt you have in your life. So go through your horoscopes, understand your horoscopes, and be prepared, better prepared than be sorry, and then make a plan how you are going to shed your karmic debt, so that you invite easier times ahead in life and more prosperity and abundance in life. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.